The place of education is at the top of the 5-point agenda, because by the time peace is established, what happens is other sectors begin to take shape. And that is why when the governor came into office, one of the first things he did was to reopen the Plateau State University, which was shut down by the previous administration. You also recall that Plateau was at the bottom line in terms of performance of our awards in the secondary school. And to make sure that there is a change, we decided to approach the problem from the root. And that is why, as I speak with you, about 500 classrooms have been built across the state. The Primary Education Board has employed and retrained about 600 teachers. And also the Plateau State University has received a lot of accreditation from the courses, and about 200 staff of that institutions have been sent on local and overseas training, so as to improve their capacity and prepare the school ready for accreditation of other courses. Of course, the fact that also our wards have opportunities to be admitted into universities, and also that our brothers and sisters are today finding employment in the institution. And of course, the infrastructural development also creates job and opportunities for laborers, architects. So there is a value chain of benefit with what has been done in the education sector. And we are happy that gradually Plateau is beginning to gain traction in finding its place at the education ladder of this country. The first time the universities, we don't have problems of industrial action. People are not going on strike. The calendar year for the past 3 years has been operating according to schedule. There's been no break. And that in itself shows the sincerity being exhibited by this administration to match the words with action. And we are happy that it's beginning to permeate into other areas. And to us, we believe that when people see the sincerity of a leader, then people are ready to buy into the vision and show some patience as the journey progresses. Like Governor Simon Lalong has always said, the focus of the 5-point agenda is to reduce human suffering and to improve on the economy of the people. And when you talk about payment of salaries, the government inherited 7-month backlog of salaries, apart from about 220 billion of debts that was incurred from the last administration. As I speak with you, the civil servants have not only been paid the backlog of the 7-month, the state is up to date. And of course, that's why the workers call him Governor Alert. You also recall that the president of NUJ, Mr. Ayuba Waba, was in the state, and he gave the governor award as the most friendly, labor-friendly governor. And to me, it's not just about payments of salaries. It's also about the fact that every month in the Plateau economy is empowered with about 2 billion naira. Now, that is the money that is paid as salaries. And at the end of the month, people use that money and pour it back into the economy. Well, the health sector has received a boost. There has been an upgrade in the facilities across the state. The Kanke General Hospital, the General Hospital are all being given the necessary facelift to be able to meet up with the health challenges in the state. And even as I speak with you, with the present strike that is ongoing, the workers in Plateau are just doing that as a form of solidarity, because the government has been able to meet up with its own responsibility. And also we've embarked a lot in terms of taking preemptive actions, and that is why the National Board for Primary Health Care listed Plateau as the second best performing state in terms of vaccination against measles. Plateau was only beaten by FCT, of course, for obvious reasons. So that in itself is early indicators of the performance of the state and the priority given to healthcare development. And to us, it's the results like this that give us the confidence that indeed we are operating on the right track. Well, I believe the bold statements made during the commissioning of the Mararaba Jama'a Road, which and also the commissioning of the Secretariat Road overhead bridge, the Dadinkoa, Rafiki, with Sport to Domkapale roads, are clear statements that the government is very concerned and prioritizes the issue of infrastructural development. And that is why the roads that are big are roads that affect the whole state. And also, we're also looking at other areas. Right now, as I speak with you, over 22 roads are under construction, and there is no local government. Out of the 17 local government, all have a road project or the other that is ongoing. And we're also trying to connect communities. And that is why bridges like the Angwan-Rogo Bridge is significant beyond the construction. It's about linking people. You recall that there was a time in this state where people from particular religion couldn't cross over to another part of town. That has been taken over. So we are pushing through with that building of and bridging of by building both the bridges you cannot see and the bridges you can see, and that is why we are building bridges across the state. Secondly, because of the interaction and performance of His Excellency Right Honorable Simon Lalong, today, just last week, the Federal Executive Council approved road contract of about 19 billion naira at the Sharam Road. Apart from that, there are also ongoing roads by the federal government in those axes that connects Kanki and Tafawa Balewa in Bauchi State. Now, all this cannot come if you don't have a visionary leadership that tries to connect the state to the national level. And like somebody said, I mean that President Buhari went to visit America, and of all the two governors that went with him, one is the governor of Plateau State. So that means Plateau is not only being projected to the national level, we are not key players on the table of international politics. And to us, that is huge. Well, our message is that we have a government that has prioritized the issue of peace, which is very important, and we have achieved that to a great extent. And now we're in the era of prosperity. So we want to call on people to key into the prosperity that is ushered to us by this government. For one, the potato value chain, which is valued about $11 million, has been approved by the Federal Executive Council, and very soon we'll begin to have a chain of activities that will cut across the 17 local governments. I'm talking about people who will farm the potatoes, some who will be middlemen, some who will be traders, some who will create, there will be transporters. So it's a whole value chain of activity. And as we focus on agriculture, it now means that the youths can begin to see agriculture not for subsistence, but as a revenue earner. And we are happy that with such openings, it means we are opening our markets, we are creating opportunities for our farmers to earn dollars instead of naira. That is opportunities that are here. And of course, with the carnival that just took place, Plateau is being opened up to the outside world. And we know Jos is the incubation center for creativity in the whole of Nigeria. So we want to call on youth to take advantage of the peaceful environment that is created so that you can also ply your trade as a youth. Right now, the greatest businesses that is earning money is business of innovation, of thinking. It's not about factories anymore. It's about sitting down and thinking, how do I bring solution? And that is why Zuckerberg and the rest are making more money than Ford and other industries that used to be in the forefront as money makers. So I want to challenge our youth especially to take opportunities that is being presented by this peaceful environment, to think out of the box, to be innovative, and to create solutions that will bring in money, because that is the era Plateau is in now.